Hey guys, this is just going to be another footwork video. I know we've already done one in the past, but I want to get a little more thorough and just talk about why I think some things are right and why I think some things are wrong, and when to do certain things. Because you hear me a lot in the other videos talking about our combinations and things like that, and this footwork is really the base for all of that. If you don't have good footwork, you're not going to generate power. If you don't have good footwork, you're not going to have good defense. If you don't have good footwork, you're not going to be able to move. So it's very important, so I just want to touch on it a little bit more today. One of the things I like to do, guys, and I've talked about it before, is find a straight line on your mats that you can use, or even use just a piece of athletic tape. And this is how we're going to set up our stance. So you hear me talk a lot about my neutral stance, and I always talk about how basic it is and how I like to start there. Well, really it is basic, and that's actually how I'm going to fight. That's how I fight. So even though it's basic, the neutral stance works for your real fighting. Kickboxing, MMA, things like that. What the neutral stance is, guys, if you have that line in the middle of the floor and you stand square right in the middle, I want you to put 1 foot up and 1 foot back just a little bit. Now this should be just a little bit wider than if I just was walking and I decided to stop. From here, I'm just going to spread out a little bit more, bend my knees, and that's going to be my neutral fight stance. Okay, so again, I'm going to have 1 foot back on one side of the line, 1 foot forward on the other. I'm going to put some pressure on my toes and bend my knees. This is my neutral stance. Okay, now when I involve the upper body, I put my hands up. I try to have my left shoulder at about a 45 degree with my feet and hands in front of my face. Toe placement, that's another thing that you'll see a lot of people do a lot of different ways. I like to point my front foot directly forward, right at my target, my opponent, and I like to have my back foot at about a 45 degree angle. I don't like to drag it straight back. You'll see some kickboxers do that. I don't like to have it too forward because I can't generate my kick, or at least I don't feel like I can, or spring as well. So I like to be about 45, and I like to put pressure on my toes. Okay, now putting pressure on the toes, that's another thing where I try to teach somebody this. They feel like they have to get up on their tippy toes. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, you can make contact with your entire foot or most of your foot. You just want that pressure on your toes so that you can spring. When pressure's on my toes, I can bounce forward, side to side, back. I can push off the floor to throw a kick. I can pivot on both feet if I need to. So that's why we want pressure on our toes. If I'm on my heels too much, you tend to fall off balance. You cannot push off with your heel. You have to switch to your toe to push off, and that loses time. So, neutral stance, guys. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Back foot's about 45 degrees, front foot's forward. We're on our toes. Nice and relaxed, okay? Now from here, hands up in front of our face and our left shoulder's forward. This is our neutral stance. We want to keep our head center of our body. We don't want to lean forward or lean back. It's a 50-50 weight distribution. And now, if I can maintain this, anytime I step correctly, I'm going to move the front foot first. If I'm moving forward, I'm going to move the back foot first. If I'm moving back, same thing with the right to the left. If you do it correctly, you should always end up right back in the neutral stance. I don't even have to look down, and I can probably tell that I'm going to end up right back where I started. Okay? So, let's talk about what I don't like to do. And these things that I don't like to do or that I consider wrong work in some situations, and they work in certain martial arts. I'm talking about if I'm going in there to do a kickboxing or an MMA fight, this is my stance of choice. One thing you'll see guys do is they'll stand on the tightrope. Okay, this works for boxing because you don't have to worry about taking leg kicks. Okay, they can keep their head further away. They can leave their leg out there. They don't have to worry about it getting attacked. This also for karate and taekwondo is fine because you're not getting kicked to the legs at all. You can maintain a greater distance and use that foot as defense. Okay? So, for kickboxing, why it's bad, why it's wrong is I cannot throw a good back leg roundhouse, which is going to be probably my main technique for kicks, because it's behind me, okay? Rather than off to the side ready to strike, okay? Also, I cannot defend a leg kick from his rear leg roundhouse if he's orthodox. I cannot check a good kick, okay? And it's going to crash the back of my hamstring every time. All right? So we don't like to stand there. Also, we don't want to stand square to our opponent, okay? As if, even if we have a stance that's split, okay? This is still way too square, okay? I'm wide here. I cannot move as quickly. I'm a big, square target, all right? I want to minimize my target while having effective footwork, And that's how we're going to hopefully beat our opponent. If we stand here, if your opponent stands here, you can throw a straight 1-2 all day, even to the body. It's going to land a lot more than if that left shoulder's forward and you minimize the target. We go from being a square to go into a 45-degree angle, and now we're a much smaller target and we can evade much easier. So that's the basics of the footwork, guys. Okay, that's what I mean when I'm talking about a neutral stance. I'll try to upload more videos where we talk about the stance with our punches, and we can start to work on proper pivots with our punches, things like that. We can start working on how I like to throw my kicks, springing off the floor almost like I'm a sprinter in the blocks. And there's a lot of other drills we can do with that. But for now, if you just need to practice standing in a neutral stance, hands up, minimize your target, and practice those steps. Nice and easy. All right, and I will link to the other footwork video I did that talks more about stepping in that stance, and hopefully you guys can take something from it.